Good morning. I'm Jason Clark, the principal of Kingstec Campus. As we begin this convocation, we'd like to first acknowledge we are in traditional Mi'kmaq territory. I want to offer a warm welcome to graduates, family, friends, and guests joining us here today, along with all those tuning in to our live stream from around the world. Thank you for being part of this very special day as we celebrate the class of 2017. Thank you to our Piper Ed Coleman for the inspirational processional music. At this time, I would now like to introduce the platform guests. Please hold your applause until everyone has been introduced. Beginning on my right, Jadine Sherman, Academic Chair, School of Business. John Lohr, Member of the Legislative Assembly, Kings North. Don Bureau, NSCC President. Adam LePage, NSCC Board of Governors. Julianne Meisner, NSCC Foundation Board of Governors. Anna Burke, Vice President Academic. Catherine McLean, Vice President Campuses and Communities. Monica Foster, Vice President College Services and CFO. Greg Russell, Dean, School of Business. And back row on my right, John Smith, Manager Student Services. Octavia McClellan, Campus Registrar. Ashley DeLong, Associate Registrar. Christine Arsenal, Director, Enrollment and Registrar. I'd also like to acknowledge a invited guest from the town of Kentville, Mayor Sandra Snow. Thank you for joining us today. I'd also like to take this opportunity to acknowledge a very special group of people, and that is our faculty and staff, and I'd ask them to please stand at this time. These individuals, oh, hold on. I have some nice things to say about you. These individuals pour their hearts and souls into making Kingstec Campus an exceptional learning environment for our students. They are experts in their field, they are generous with their time and knowledge, and they view our students as full partners in learning. Let's take a moment to thank these extraordinary colleagues. And I have one final staff member I'd like to recognize before we get into the ceremony, and that is an individual who's retiring at the end of this academic year. Sandy Dyke has devoted over 25 years to teaching and learning and supporting students at NSCC. Sandy, we are grateful for your contributions to our students, our campus, and our community. Thank you, Sandy. At this time, I'd like to read a letter from the Honorable Scott Bryson, Member of Parliament for Kings Hants. Scott has attended our Kingstec convocations for many years and has always been very pleased to do so. His schedule did not permit him to attend today, so he has sent on this letter and asked me to read it to the audience. Elected officials, President Bureau, faculty and staff, graduates, families, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, I am not able to be with you in person this morning, but it is my great honor to welcome you to the 2017 School of Business Convocation ceremonies at the Kingstec campus of the Nova Scotia Community College. The Nova Scotia Community College is truly a special institution. It provides a supportive, student-focused environment where learners receive practical, hands-on training for the jobs needed in today's economy. Graduates possess the skills and knowledge required to find employment in Nova Scotia or to compete anywhere in the world. NSCC is a crucial component of the world-class post-secondary educational available in Nova Scotia and is critical to the economic success of our province. To the graduates, I express my most sincere congratulations. This is the culmination of a tremendous amount of hard work, commitment, and sacrifice. You chose to continue your education here at Kingstec to improve your life, and for some, the lives of family members that depend on you. For many, the decision to embark on this journey was not an easy one, and I commend you for having the courage to embrace the opportunity to build a brighter future. Your time at Kingstec was not without challenge, but you have emerged on the other side a stronger, more confident individual, equipped with the tools to excel in your chosen profession and tackle whatever life throws at you. While graduates should take great personal pride in their academic success, I think each of them will acknowledge that they could not have done it alone. I would like to thank all the faculty, staff, family members, and friends that provided support and guidance to these graduating students. You are an integral part of the success stories we are celebrating today. Congratulations again to all the graduating students, and I wish you nothing but the best in the next chapter of your life. Sincerely, Scott Bryson, member of Parliament King's Hands. I'd now like to invite John Lord to the podium to bring greetings.
Thank you, President Jason and President Don, staff, parents, and graduates. My privilege to be here today to bring greetings on behalf of the province of Nova Scotia to congratulate you. Graduates, I can tell you that it's nearly every week I have someone in my office who is looking to try to get into this institution, and it's a privilege. You're privileged to be here as graduates now and to beginning embarking a new career, and we're privileged to have this institution, I believe, in Kings North and in Kentville. I know the mayor would agree with me. I'd like to give you one piece of advice, a rule to live by, which I have more or less lived by, not always successfully, and that is, maybe it's a bit of superstition on my part, but when you're asked to do something in life, I've always looked upon it as a sign that I'm meant to do that. So when someone has asked me to volunteer or do something, unless I have a very concrete reason not to do it, then I normally do it. I haven't always, but normally. And the idea that I don't feel like I can do it, or maybe I don't feel like doing it, I don't allow those two thoughts to influence my decision. If you've been asked to do something, then somebody thinks that you can't do it. And so we all get asked many times in life to volunteer for different things, and oftentimes it may be not real convenient, but if you go through your life and you look upon those requests to help somebody or do something as in my case, I look upon it as a sign from God that I'm meant to do that, and so maybe it's a bit of superstition on my part, but then I very seriously consider doing that, and I do it. And I think that going through life, and as you embark on a new career, there's a vacuum of volunteers, right? There's volunteers needed in almost every section, every part of our communities, and you all have many opportunities to volunteer in the future. You can't say yes to every one of them, but you need to say yes to the ones that come along, and you can do it. And so that's my advice to you, and you'll invest in your community, and in a roundabout way, reap rewards in your own life that can be profound and unexpected. So that is my advice to the graduates. I know you've had 2 years of trying to get superstition out of your lives maybe, but I'm giving you a piece of advice that is sort of saying, think about when you're asked to do something, think about what you can do to fulfill that request. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone. As was mentioned earlier, my name is Don Bureau. I'm the president of NSCC, and I have the absolute privilege, on behalf of this great team here at NSCC Kingstec Campus and in the entire college, to address the graduating class of 2017. Graduates, we are here this morning for one reason and one reason only, and that's to celebrate your success in reaching a very significant milestone in your lives. In a minute, I'll have the honor of presenting you with your certificate or your diploma, But before I do, I want to share a few words with you on the importance of learning being a lifetime endeavor, and my hope that your commitment to learning will extend well beyond today. One of the people who best embodies this concept of lifelong learning that I've had the honor to meet was a recipient of the Nova Scotia Community College Honorary Diploma just a couple of years ago. And that recipient was Canadian astronaut, Colonel Chris Hadfield. You see, when Colonel Hadfield was on the International Space Station, he was working with NSCC students and some of our faculty doing research in the area of geomatics. And as a way to recognize his many lifetime accomplishments, his extraordinary contributions to science, and his outstanding role modeling for all Canadians, we gave Colonel Hadfield an honorary NSCC diploma. But prior to the ceremony, I had the pleasure of meeting Colonel Hadfield, during which time he shared with me his views on education and the power of continuous learning as a way to live a life full of happiness and success. And I asked him what one message would he like to share with our graduates. And he said, and I quote, "My advice would be whether you are working for a large business, running a small business, volunteering in your community, or circling the earth as an astronaut, the rapid pace of change faced by society today requires us all to learn how to continuously learn." He added that we all have a duty, in fact, he called it a civic responsibility, to always expect the unexpected and prepare yourself for such a situation because you never know when you'll be called upon to solve a problem at work, to pursue an entrepreneurial opportunity, or to simply provide somebody with a helping hand when they're in need, or in essence, to pay forward a kind gesture. And this notion of always having a duty to learn, or always to sharpen one's axe, has stuck with me. And as I was thinking about my message to you, our graduates this year, a couple of events in my personal life came to mind that I want to share with you that spoke to Colonel Hadfield's advice. And that first event was when I was 18 years old. I was in a very, very serious single car accident on a country road near our family cottage in Amherst. And the first person on this scene was a very kind lady who was a retired registered nurse who had become, in her retirement, a trainer for the Canadian Red Cross First Aid Program. If it wasn't for her commitment to lifelong learning and her willingness to help me that day, I could have very easily died. She began to immediately administer first aid. She stopped my bleeding, and she traveled with me in the ambulance to the hospital, providing me with great care and comfort. And when she was about to leave me in the emergency room, I asked her a question. I said, "What could I ever do to repay your care and kindness?" And she said to me simply, "Please, someday take a first aid course, because you'll never know when you're going to need those skills, probably when you least expect it." Well, I never forgot her advice and her call to action. And exactly 20 years ago, while I was working at a different post-secondary institution here in Nova Scotia, I won't name it, but it's in Wolfville. That's all I'm going to say. While at work one day, I saw on a bulletin board an advertisement for a first aid course. And while my job did not require me to be a first responder, I said to myself it was time for me to honor that amazing lady who saved my life. So I signed up and I took the course. And over many weeks, I attended the modules and learned many in-depth topics. But I have to tell you, I often wondered if I would ever use the skills that I would be learning in that course. Well, when the course completed, I didn't have to wonder for long. Because a few weeks after I finished that course, I was asked to do a favor for a teaching colleague of mine. You see, he was teaching an off-site distance education course in a location in Digby. And one morning he was going to be away and he asked me to fill in for him. I said I would be pleased to do so. He told me it was a very small class with exactly 10 students. They were very eager and they were very committed. And he said there was always 100% attendance. And they were very interested in learning about entrepreneurship, a topic for which I had great passion. Well, I arrived in Digby that morning, but there were only 9 students in the class. And I was informed that one of the students, Sarah, was expecting a child, and that morning she called in saying she had gone into premature labor and she would not be coming to class. I gave my seminar, and while I was driving back to Wolfville from Digby on the 101, I could see far ahead a car pulled over to the side of the road with the 4-way flashers flashing and a lady trying to frantically wave down traffic. So I stopped, I rolled my window down, and I could hear somebody screaming from the back seat of the car. The lady who pulled me over said, "Thank goodness you stopped." She said, "Our car broke down, my daughter's in the back seat, she's in premature labor, and she's having a baby." So me, thinking I was Superman after completing this course, I leapt into action, I jumped out, I ran around, I opened up the back door, and sure enough, there was a young lady about to have a baby. I looked at her and I said to her, "Your name wouldn't be Sarah, would it?" And with the most puzzled look in her eye, she looked back at me and she said, "How in the heck do you know my name?" I said, "Well, Sarah, you missed a great seminar this morning." I told her who I was. She looked at me and she said, "I'm so sorry. I really want to go to your workshop this morning. Can I get the class notes?" I said, "We'll worry about that later." And after things calmed down a little bit, we were able to get her into my car, and off we went to the Kentville Hospital, about 45 minutes away. And as we were speeding down the highway, I said to her mother, I said, "Quick, in the back seat on the floor is a first aid textbook. Open to chapter 8, childbirthing, and tell me what I should be doing here, okay?" Because about every 10 minutes, Sarah was sure the baby was about to arrive and we'd have to pull over to the side of the road. I'd jump out, run around, open the back door, waiting for this baby to arrive. She'd say, "No, I think we can make it." I'd run back, get in the driver's seat, and speed down the highway. Well, the great news is we finally made it to the Kentville Hospital. And when I was about to leave her and her mother in the emergency room, she asked me the same question that I asked that registered nurse so many years ago. Sarah asked me, "What could I possibly do to repay you?" And my advice to her was simple. Someday take a first aid course because you may have to use it when you least expect it. She promised me she would do just that. And with one final hug, I continued my journey back to my office. And later that day, I got a phone call from her mother saying that Sarah and her baby daughter were doing just fine. So graduates, as we are here this morning to celebrate the completion of one major stage of your learning, my request of you is simple. It's actually twofold. One, take a first aid course. And secondly, please let this time at NSCC be just one of many learning journeys that you undertake during your life. Because as Colonel Hatfield said, lifelong learning is one of the most important of our civic duties because we all have the responsibility to be prepared for the unexpected, and we should always be in a position to pay forward the amazing gestures of kindness that we have received in our lives. And as I think about this word kindness, graduates, whether they are family, friends, amazing team members here at Kingstec Campus, there are important people in your lives who are joining us this morning who have shown you great kindness during your time here at the Kingstec campus. So unbeknownst to our graduates, you haven't officially completed your program yet because you have one last assignment to do. And that assignment is to take a minute to think of that person or persons who are joining us this morning who have shown you great kindness during your time with us. And I've asked you to think of that person or persons because we have a tradition here at NSCC, a tradition where I ask the graduating class to stand up as your last assignment and give a wave to somebody in the audience as a way to say thank you for their kindness. So graduates, please stand and give a wave to somebody in the audience, please. So I can now say congratulations to the graduating class of 2017 because you now have officially completed your program. Well done. And before I conclude, there's one other important group that I'd like to recognize this morning. For decades, our alumni have been driven by passion to find creative and entrepreneurial ways to give back to their communities with their lifelong learning when faced with the unexpected. So I want to acknowledge our alumni joining us today. If you are a past graduate of NSCC or any of our predecessor institutions or schools, or are a graduate of CCEDP, would you please now stand to be recognized? Thank you. So in conclusion, and on behalf of the entire college, it does give me great pleasure to say congratulations, and I want you to promise me one thing. After you walk across this stage this morning, I'd ask that you please commit to lifelong learning, to always be ready when faced with the unexpected, and to always be willing to pay forward the many gifts and abilities that you now have. Congratulations, thank you for choosing NSCC, and in a phrase, you rock. Thank you very much.
Good morning. Welcome stage guests and all the members of our audience. My name is Janine Sherman, and I'm the Academic Chair for the School of Business. Mr. President, I present to you the following candidates who have completed all of the requirements for credentials in the School of Business. Mr. President, the candidates for the Certificate in Baking and Pastry Arts, Kaylee Atwood. Dylan Benjamin. Sarah Berry. Invited guests. It is a tradition in the Nova Scotia Community College that when a faculty or staff person has a family member graduating, we offer them the opportunity to participate in the ceremony and present the credential. Trish Garretts now joins us to present her brother with a certificate in the School of Business. Dave Burfato. Sydney Chaffee. Kaylee Chevalier. Brittany Curran, honors. Stephen Harvey. Kayla Keogh. Emily Levy, honors. Dana O'Brien. Nicole Phillips. Sarah Rabahi. Amy Steves, honors. For the information of the audience, those students whose names appear in the program but who are unable to be with us today are automatically admitted to their respective certificates or diplomas. Mr. President, the graduates in Baking and Pastry Arts. Mr. President, the candidate for the certificate in cooking, Alex Walker. Mr. President, the graduate in cooking. Mr. President, the candidates for the certificate in medical office administration. Amber Beckwith. Claire Burlmont, honors. Lisa Fleet, honors. Cassandra Gallagher. Kiera Grant, honors. Jennifer Hatfield, honors. Lydia Hathaway. Rachel Hudgens. Caitlin Jordan, honors. Brittany Langell. Reagan Lonergan. Terry Lynn Mann. Sarah McKee, honors. Mariah Moody, honors. Jenna Sue O'Leary. Rebecca Poyser. Ashley Pye. Krista Robichaud, honors. Pamela Saunders, honors. Jaleesa Shirley. Chelsea Stark. Mr. President, the graduates in Medical Office Administration. Mr. President, the candidates for the Certificate in Office Administration. Alicia Egan, Honors. Tina Els. Megan Graves. Jonathan Harris. Brandy Huntley. Aaron Keating. Nicole Martin. Emily Menard. Darlene Payzant Rourke, Honors. Kyle White. Sarah Humans, Honors. Mr. President, the graduates in Office Administration. Mr. President, the candidates for the Diploma in Business Administration. Jessica Avery. Shelby Banks. Morgan Bezanson. Marley Caldwell. Justin Ealer. Angelina Engelberts. Adam Ferguson. Christina Fraser. Benjamin Garland. Andrew Hudson. Brianna Lynch. Brittany McDowell. Jade Munier, honors. Christina Palmer. Rhonda Patterson. Benjamin Roberts, honors. Jasmine Schreiner. Christy Taylor, honors. Christopher White. Ashley Zwicker. Mr. President, the candidates for the Diploma in Business Administration Accounting. Lisa Benjamin, honors. Holly Bland. Todd Fairclough. Crystal Meisner, honors. Caitlin Murphy. Megan Nickel, honors. Brandon Vittido. Lisa Wood. Caitlin Worth. Mr. President, the candidates for the Diploma in Business Administration Financial Services, Autumn Farmer, Honors. Merve Kaihan. Aaron O'Leary. Brett Pemberton. Scott Porter. Kiani Walker. Mr. President, the candidates for the Diploma in Business Administration Marketing, Jeff Burke. Rachel Monette. Kelsey Ogilvie. Mr. President, the graduates in business administration. Mr. President, the candidates for the Diploma in Culinary Arts, Alexander Faulkner. Philip Harris. Caitlin Kavanaugh. Connor Kennedy. Morgan McKay. Matthew Miedema. Grace Oakley. Jules Matthew Rubino. Clayton Wood Huntley. Mr. President, the graduates in culinary arts. Mr. President, the candidates for the Diploma in Tourism Management, Experiential Tourism, Morgan Bond. Madison Forsyth. Emma Townsend. Leah Visser, honors. Mr. President, the graduates in tourism management. Mr. President, and all of our guests, I present to you the 2017 graduating class from Kingstec Campus, Nova Scotia Community College.
Mr. President, assembled guests, Good morning. I'm John Smith, the Manager of Student Services here at the Kingstec campus. Now, just last evening, in this auditorium, we held our student award ceremonies. And the students, many of them in our programs, were recognized for their outstanding achievement and contribution to their class and industry. I would like each of those students last night who were so recognized with awards to please stand now and be acknowledged by our audience. Well done. Now it's my pleasure to announce several of our 5 major award winners whose names appear in our convocation program. I'll ask each of these graduates to come to their stage as their name is announced. Our first award this morning is the Board of Governors Award. I'd like to call upon our board representative, Adam LePage, please, to present this award. The Board of Governors Award is given to a graduating student of a college diploma program who has demonstrated outstanding academic achievement and contributed to campus and community activities. This year's recipient of the Board of Governors Award, a graduate of the Business Administration program, is Christy Taylor. Our next award is the Nova Scotia Community College Foundation Award. And I'll now call upon our representative from the Foundation Board of Directors, Julianne Meisner, to present this award. The Nova Scotia Community College Foundation Award is presented to a graduating student of a college program who has demonstrated outstanding academic achievement and whose service and leadership has made the difference in the lives of others. This year's recipient of the Nova Scotia Community College Foundation Award, a graduate of the Baking and Pastry Art program, is Brittany Curran. The President's Award. I'll now call upon our President, Don Bureau, to present this award. This award is presented to a graduating student of a college certificate program who has demonstrated outstanding academic achievement and contributed to campus and community activities. This year's recipient of the President's Award, a graduate of the Baking and Pastry Art program, is Amy Steeves. Mr. President and invited guests, I present to you the 2017 award winners for the Kingstec campus, Nova Scotia Community College. It's now my pleasure to ask Brittany Curran to again return to the stage to present our valedictory address for their convocation. Now, Britt was drawn to the Baking and Pastry Art program at Kingstec after looking for an intimate, hands-on learning environment in which to continue her education. Well, she got that and much more. In addition to a first-class education that she found here at Kingstec, as she put it, I learned more about myself this year than in any other. This newfound sense of self, combined with confidence and purpose, will serve Britt well as she pursues her life's goals and learning goals. Please help me in welcoming Britt to the podium.
I'm really nervous. I also lost the back to my earring, so I taped it. Good morning. Welcome, President Bureau, Principal Clark, faculty and staff, family, friends, visiting alumni, and fellow graduates. My name is Brittany Curran, and I am graduating from the Baking and Pastry Art program. A journalism professor once told me to never start an essay, article, or speech with a quote, so I will. Whatever. On a TV show recently, I heard one character comfort another by saying it is time to pivot, to evolve into what it is you'll become next. Pivoting is not about the fear of stumbling forward or falling backward, but slight shifts into new directions. I always considered going back to school. I have a degree in English and journalism, a university experience that gave me some of my finest memories, but a lot more of my bumpiest. I didn't always get the best grades. I didn't always feel like I belonged. I took a pause after my second year because I'd hit a wall. I was low. I moved home and mindlessly worked for minimum wage and couldn't grasp why this map of my life felt suddenly crumpled. That the notes I'd taken for being successful and exceptional were now smudged from an incredibly shaky and uncertain hand. I eventually returned and created some of my strongest writing, but looking back on my BA is foggy. NSCC has been different. There were only 14 other students in my program. I had just 3 instructors. I worked on new recipes almost daily. I fell in love with culinary math. I did. I parked in the same spot, mainly because our program opened the school at 7 a.m., but still super convenient. Starting out this past September at 31 years old, I was excited but nervous. I thought perhaps I'd have to fit myself into a box. As I looked around at my classmates, I started to sift. I wasn't the oldest. I wasn't the youngest. I wasn't the most experienced baker. I wasn't the most natural. So who was I? Well, I was probably the loudest, but none of that mattered. Yes. Yeah. As graduates today, we all began a new program in the last year or two. That's our common denominator. We were starting fresh and making shifts. This year gave me the time to really look at myself. I learned more about what makes me thrive, what makes me anxious, like speeches, what bugs me, what brightens my day, what brings me hope, and what takes me time, what I can do well, like plated desserts, and what I struggle at, all bread. I've always believed education and learning to be the most incredibly liberating gift. I was an on-campus tutor, and a student I worked with, Pamela, is also graduating today with honors. My sister, dad, and both my grandfathers have been educators. One grandfather actually taught here and shared in the development of the radio and television broadcasting program. My mother went back to school with 4 kids under the age of 15. As a single mom, she ensured we went to school, got to every soccer and swimming practice, made it to games and plays, and worked on papers late until the night. She's now a teacher and still superhuman, and I can see her crying. Or start crying. I applied to NSCC on a bit of a whim, but it felt right. Why did you come here to the School of Business? What program piqued your interest? Perhaps you imagined a new career in administration or tourism, or wanted to build upon your current education for future opportunities, or, like me, had seen too many episodes of Top Chef to avoid making ganache any longer. NSCC gives us an intimate, intensive environment to test the corners of our minds, to get out of a box, out of a rut, and ready to grow. During my time off, during my BA, I started looking deeper into how I felt, why I felt that way, and what was going on below the surface. I became face to face with the realization that depression played a part in my well-being. This year, one of the smartest decisions I made was seeing Stephen Brown in Student Services every week, to carve out an hour where I could talk through my thoughts, find some clarity, and dial down the white noise. The process for balance has been just that, a process. I distinctly remember once describing myself as feeling 40% okay 90% of the time. Now, I'm no analyst, but those numbers are brutal. So I needed to start working with my mental health rather than against it. It doesn't define who I am, and it doesn't impede who I am. It's just as much a part of me as my limbs or my organs or my humor. It's something I work on every day, and it's really hard, but it's worth it. Here today are my mom, grandmother, and 2 close friends. My family and friends are the collective voice of reason that help me focus and flourish. My 2 nieces, Rory and Maven, also constantly remind me how special life is. As for Kingstec, my classmates were some of the smartest, silliest, most creative people I'll ever know. I'm honored to have shared the lab with all of you. Jolene, our program assistant, was like another classmate and teacher, and is undeniably the chair at courses Sunday. Then there's Chef, or Annalisa, whom I cried of in front of approximately 812 times this year. She challenged us to keep pushing and graciously embraced our quirks, like when I felt the need to put an old cake stand on my head and sing opera. You are so talented, and we are the lucky ones. It's graduation, in case you didn't know, and an inherently reflective day, so let's reflect. What were the whispers of praise and reassurance when you felt doubt? What made you get up in the morning, hand in those assignments, ask for help, organize study sessions, join a club, and seek out the perfect placement? It's easy to start something, but following through can be tough. Your personal support system is huge. Parents, best friends, coworkers, peers. But you did this. You tread water despite the continuing flurry of tests, projects, and presentations. Think about what kept you going. Something did because you're here. So sing out your accomplishments, stand taller than a redwood tree, look at missteps as temporary hiccups, tiny setbacks that made you shift, not stop. Prioritize time to talk to somebody about your day, your anxieties, your grief. Frame your certificate, like get a really nice frame. Let someone make a toast to your success. Say thank you to your mentors. Be prepared to hear a thank you back. Keep your best work in a special box. Flip through photos often. Attend alumni events. Carry on with your skills, your drive, and more guts and gusto than before. Remember that you accepted the challenge to start something new and finish it. Adapt as you go, but press on, and remind yourself how lovely it can be to pivot. Thank you, and congratulations.
Graduates, on behalf of our Kingstec staff, I'd like to extend a heartfelt congratulations to you and your families. What you have accomplished is amazing, and we are so very proud of you. We wish you continued success on whatever pathway or journey you choose from here. In case any of your family or friends are not here today, the ceremony will be available to view at a later date on NSCC's YouTube channel. This brings us to the end of this morning's proceedings. We invite everyone to join us for a reception in our atrium and learning commons immediately following the ceremony. I want to extend a special thank you to all those employees who contributed to making this convocation ceremony a truly special event. During the recessional, the stage guests, led by our president, and followed by staff and graduates, will leave the auditorium. Would you please stand as you are able for the recessional and remain standing until the stage party, staff, and graduates have left the auditorium. Thank you very much.